Doing it. I have this live stream thing. I always hate the lag on this. You just stand up there awkwardly. So I need to come up with a video, I guess, to talk about how you should stand awkwardly or sit awkwardly in a live video stream as you wait for that timer to finally click for you to be on the live stream. Anyways, what is up, everybody? We are excited for the second sessions of the Speaking Sessions Virtual Summit. If I could say more S's, that'd be great and hiss a lot for you all. But we've got an amazing lineup of sales and marketing people to teach you all things sales and marketing. And we just got an amazing lineup. I'm excited to hear from all of these speakers. I know most of them personally, but this virtual summit is all about giving people the opportunity to be able to share their message. Some of these people have been speaking on other stages. They just took this opportunity to get on another stage. But whether you are a seasoned speaker or not, this is your opportunity to get on a stage and speak. And if you're not prepared for that yet, don't worry. On Thursday evening, we have a webinar for you that's free if you want to check that out. So make sure to check that out. I'll make sure to put a comment as we bring up our first guest. So I see in the background, he is not here. He's coming back in. So we're about to introduce him, Mr. Clifton Muckenfoos. So Mr. Clifton Muckenfoos is a serial entrepreneur with an extensive background in sales, marketing, and leadership. A graduate of Clemson University with a bachelor's degree in marketing, communications, and a minor in advertising. Clifton is a true visionary. Over the last 17 years, he has co-founded and scaled service-based companies while successfully negotiating exits and never picking up a hammer or ladder or tape measure or anything while doing that. But Clifton, the floor is yours. We're excited to hear from you and your wonderful message.
Philip, hey man, I greatly appreciate that introduction. It's funny because I'm a little bit different than most contractors, if you will. Most contractors work in a trade, get upset with a boss or something like that, and then leave and go start their own company. I still can't read a tape measure. I don't use power tools or any of that kind of stuff, and so I'm much different than most contractors, if you will. But I want to share a couple of things. I'm going to share my screen. Philip, you said you could let me do that, and so I want to kind of walk through something here. I believe everyone can kind of see my screen there, and I really just kind of want to talk about tonight. Wow client experiences and creating what I call customers for life. And so, why am I uniquely qualified to talk on this topic? And as Philip mentioned earlier, I am a husband, I'm a father, I'm a man of God, but more importantly, I'm an entrepreneur and have been for 17 years. For the last 3 years, I've been a business growth coach, so I help other entrepreneurs and other business owners professionalize their companies. I'm also a client experience consultant, so I go into businesses and help them identify before, during, and after all of the touch points and all the interactions in their business to help them grow and scale. I founded a tech company in 2021, building raving fans. And then in 2021, I sold my remodeling company. And at the height of my remodeling company, we had a 60 to 62% on average repeat and referral rate. Right now, I currently own 4 companies. And so I've done this talk several times, and normally, it's about a 45 to 60 minute engagement. So I'm going to do my best to parse this down into 10 minutes. But typically when I'm in front of people, I ask business owners, how many people in here in this crowd would be okay having a satisfied customer? And most people in the audience are, yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy with a satisfied customer. For me, I say a satisfied customer is actually a liability. And I want you to think about that for a moment. A satisfied customer is a liability, right? That's a customer that's not super excited about you, super excited about your project, your product, your service. They're not dissatisfied either. They're just simply okay. right? What we're looking for in today's competitive marketplace is creating wow experiences so that those customers go out and passionately refer you, can't wait to talk to other people about you, and come back to you, give you those 5-star reviews. And so what we have to focus on in business is delivering exceptional customer experiences. Every customer or every business right now, guys, is delivering an experience. But often when we dive into a client experience exercise, we uncover the fact that we're not always happy with the experience that we are delivering. So before we get into it, I want to make sure that we understand the difference between customer service and customer experience. Think about customer service as an individual event, right? That's what you think about when you call maybe the cell phone company or the cable company, the utility company, like you've got an issue that you want to solve, right? Customer service is merely doing what's expected. And let's face it, customer service actually produces those satisfied customers, not those raving fans, not those people that are passionate about your brand. And so what a customer experience is a holistic approach, right? That relates to every single interaction that you and your business has with a client. So before, during, and after. So those policies, those organizational behaviors, everything that determines how a business delivers its value proposition. And it's how your customers interact with you, how they find you, how they engage with you, how they actually buy from you. And then after a prospect becomes a client, it's how you deliver your product or service. It's how you address their concerns if and when they arise. It's how you thank them after the sale for making that investment, and ultimately how you get them so excited about your business, about your culture, about your people, that they can't wait to faithfully refer you to others. So I want everyone out there that's watching this live stream, I want you to think back to yourself about a large, decent-sized purchase that you've recently made, right? Maybe it's a home improvement project, maybe it's a vacation, maybe it's an automobile, something. And I want you to think about, would you have actually spent more money if the experience was better? So would you have spent more money if the experience was better? And then the $1 million question is, will you consider doing business with that company again because of the experience you had? So those are two very important questions, right? So I want to kind of get into, I know Philip mentioned this is about sales and marketing, and while client experience is a holistic approach, let's talk really quickly about some tactical strategies for marketing and for sales. So think about marketing. That's like online and social media. What are the perceptions of your brand in the marketplace? So when people think about your company and think about your brand, and when they see you in the marketplace, what are they thinking? Like when they see your vehicles, if you're a service-based company driving around and they see that vehicle in a neighborhood, what are they thinking? Right? So what's your online brand looking like in social media? Are your people representing your brand well? So if we take that a little step further, if we think about a website, which most businesses, if you don't have a website, then we can have another conversation about that. But I want you to think about your website if you're a business owner. What's the messaging on that website? Is it all about you, or is it about addressing the radio station that your prospects listen to the most, which is WIIFM? What's in it for me? Because too often websites are all about me, 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 me. And would you believe it or not that a lot of websites nowadays don't even have a telephone number on them so a prospect can even reach them? They force you to fill out a web form. And so if that's what you're doing, I want to encourage you to actually look at, how are your prospects engaging with you? How are they wanting to communicate with you? Do they want to text your business? If you force them to fill out a web form, what happens, right? When they press submit on that web form, do they get an automatic message back, maybe with a video from the owner? some frequently asked questions to set expectations. So, what's happening after that web form is submitted? And then if you've been in business and you've got a reputation, how are you marketing your online reviews and your customer testimonials, right? Here's one thing we did at my own company that I highly recommend is creating a raving fans account. What that means is you take a percentage of your profits from each job and set it aside into an account. And that is to be used to create that wow experience. So if you're working with someone and you've got some money set aside, you can then go do something super special for that customer that's just going to blow them away, right? And it also helps minimize those oh shit moments, because let's face it, we've all had those deals or those jobs where we're into it and we're like, oh shit, this went wrong, that went wrong. But if we don't have that money set aside, then we risk getting into one of those situations that's like, well, we're struggling on profit, and it just causes a big fiasco. So think about that raving fans account. So now I'm going to transition into some sales tactical strategies. Your sales process, do you have it documented? Is everybody on your team saying the same thing? Is it a congruent message? Because if sales rep A is saying one thing and sales rep B is saying another and sales rep C is saying something different, you can't have a congruent experience. And so Mrs. Smith is going to have a different experience than from Mrs. Jones, than from Mr. Smith. And so it's just not going to be good, right? Are you training your people as part of your sales process to deploy tactical empathy, active listening, and asking the right questions? Or do your salespeople show up with commission breath, right? Showing up and trying to force a sale instead of really understanding what that prospect needs, right? Finding out what's important to him or her, and then creating a solution that's going to solve that problem. And then finally, as it relates to sales, what is your sales follow-up process? Is that documented? Are you leveraging automation and technology? So email, video, text messages. How are you staying top of mind with these prospects and educating them and adding value through the process? And so, again, I know this is a sales and marketing focused event. There are some things I'd like to talk about in productions and operations that we could cover at a later date. But the most important thing I want everybody on here to think about, and I can actually get this slide to you, Philip, that you can get out if you want to your group, is I walk clients through this very important exercise. And that is a customer journey exercise, like how to get started. Because most people are like, yeah, Clifton, it sounds great, but like, where do I start? Right. And so this exercise helps a lot. So think about before, during, and after. So before a person comes into your business or becomes a customer, so your lead capture, scheduling appointments, what that process looks like. And I want you to write down what's working right now in your process, what is working. And then be honest with yourself. What's not working? How can you improve? What do your customers want? And what can you do to enhance that experience? So do that for before, and then during, and then after. And whenever you are able to identify what's working and then areas for improvement, you can assign people on your team to take action on that. And finally, I want to just kind of close with this. In my business, I believe, and in all business, I believe, guys, that it's not your customer's job to remember you. It's our job as a business owner to make sure that your clients can't forget you. So that's what I got for you in terms of a holistic client experience. I know we kind of went through that in about maybe 10 to 12 to 13 minutes. So Philip, I appreciate you giving me a few extra minutes to share that. But I do want to get that exercise to you. You can get it out to your group. And if anybody has any questions, I'd love to be able to serve them and help them as it relates to their CX.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And really, the customer journey is all about marketing at the end of the day. We don't think of that necessarily as marketing, but that is a huge portion of marketing for us. And I was actually thinking about that today with consistency within a certain brand, and the fact that sometimes they're there and they're an awesome brand, but then other times they're just not there and they're not consistent, and how important that thing is, which is part of that customer journey and everything. So, Clifton, we appreciate you coming on and sharing your message. And I hope you're ready for some more marketing, because we have another marketing person here. We've got Caitlin Young, and I've been watching her. She has been growing so much, and you can see the heart in her background. If you should be watching this, and she is all about putting her heart into her business, but also that's what she talks about with personal branding. But Caitlin Young is the owner of the Social Media Doctor, as well as a marketing coach and mentor. Tonight, she will be discussing the secrets of social media. But Caitlin, go ahead and take it away for us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on here, Philip. Really excited to talk to everyone. Like Philip said, I put the heart back in social media. That's like my whole entire goal. So, for those of you that don't know me, that maybe this is the first time you're hearing of me, Caitlin, 27-year-old business owner here. And I wanted to really come on here and talk about the difference between personal branding and business branding, and why you need both for a successful business, no matter what industry you're in. So, when we're talking about personal brand, what that means specifically is your personal profile. Any way that you talk in public or online, it is your Facebook profile that has your name on it. It is literally you. You are your personal brand. And most people don't leverage that piece when they're talking about building their business. They focus on the business brand, putting all their ad money, all their energy into building this nonstop business brand. But what happens when you want to start a second business venture? What happens when you don't create that personal connection with your clients, right? So I am a huge fan of having the business brand and personal brand intertwined, especially when you're first starting a business, or when you want to have multiple businesses. So, personal brand, this is building on talking about you, talking about the hobbies that you have, talking about why you're so passionate about what you do. And that goes back to having clear mission and clear core values, which for any personal or business brand, you want to be clear on those things. But the way we leverage our personal brand into the business brand and infuse clients that get to know, like, and trust us, okay, kind of bringing it back here, is we talk about why we started the business, why it's important to us, what is the trigger, the catalyst that made us decide that this business was important to start, we are serving our clients, how we are serving our clients. When you start talking about that, not just on your business page, but on your personal page, sprinkling it in, right? You don't want to be all business all the time. But when you start doing that, people get to know, like, and trust you because you're consistent on there, right? And they get to know, like, and trust your business in turn. They get to know how you interact in real life. And so, therefore, they can translate that into your business, right? Because if they see Bob posting about ducks on his personal timeline, if they see someone talking about their family, right, they're going to connect all those pieces to your core values. They're going to connect it to your brand. They're going to connect it to how you serve. Because people do really operate in a way of know, like, and trust, where it's they get to know you, they get to see how you act in one way, how you do one thing is how you do anything, people say. So when they see you, how you act in personal life, they translate that to how you act in business. Now, business branding is different. Obviously, you're focusing on the product, how you serve, like Clifton talked, building raving fans. That goes a lot on in the business. But when you marry the two, when you have this strong business brand that's focused on how you serve the clients, all that, and you put the personal piece within it, you put the heart back into your business's social media. You become more authentic, you become more real with your ideal client. So, One of the ways that I teach my clients to do this is by doing a brainstorm when we're talking about social media content. Okay, so really quick, I'm going to just quickly walk you through what I do for my clients as well as what I do for myself when I am thinking about making content that reflects that personal brand, that reflects the mission of my business, right? So when I'm looking at making content for my personal timeline, I want to think about three main things. What is the goal of the content? What is the audience that I'm trying to reach? And what is the topic I'm going to use? Okay. So when we're thinking about personal brand, business brand, all that combined, right? Because we're wanting to bring the personal piece in with the business piece, we start brainstorming ideas. We start making a list. Okay, what do I want to accomplish with this video? Am I reaching just the business minded people on my personal profile, or am I going after a more wider audience? What do I want the viewer to do during or after the video? So if I'm creating a reel, do I want them to opt in at the end? Do I want them to rewatch it, right? Creating that kind of loop effect. Audience, again, that goes back to, are we trying to reach more people for prospects for business in this, or casting a wider reach? So that way we can then follow up with the business momentum, right? Are we trying to get engagement, or are we trying to get clients with this post? The topic. Are we going to be talking about our dog, or are we going to be talking about how education on social media is all AI based? Like, what are we talking about, right? So we get clear on those three things: the goal, the audience, the topic. And by doing that, we build an unstoppable brand, right? We build content that is going to be directly targeted at the person we're trying to speak to. And that will vary. Like each post will be a different audience, it'll be a different tone. But by working through these three main pillars of like, what's the goal, what's the audience, what's the topic, you're going to end up building a brand that reaches where you want it to go. This applies again, both personal and business brand. If you work through those three main things, it's going to take you further than if you just post and spray, right? So I kind of went all over the place. I know I talked difference between personal and business, kind of through a three-step process in there. But I really wanted to just really hone in on the importance of branding, why it is essential, and why it's important to keep the human aspect at the heart of all the branding that you do. Um, but I hope that helps. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I appreciate Philip for bringing me in to talk. And if you guys want, I can throw the worksheet based on how to brainstorm ideas into a file for Philip. Otherwise, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, Caitlin, well, appreciate you sharing that. Personal branding is so important. And what's one thing that maybe we could do today that you could give us like an actual step to just start doing today to start building up that personal brand more?
Uh, and this is going to be up your alley, Philip, is put yourself on camera. Put yourself out there. It is really awkward at first, but by, kind of going back to that like goal audience topic, it's going to make you feel more secure. Like when you put yourself out there on camera, because you know who you're talking to, you know what goal is in mind when you're getting on camera, and it's going to help you reach the people you want to reach.
Awesome. You take Cash App or Venmo? I'll get you later. No, no. But Caitlin, I appreciate it. And like I said, personal branding is so important. All right, cool. Let's see. I think Jeff may not be ready. I don't see his camera on in the backstage. Okay, Jeff, cool. Jeff is going to be our next person to speak. And so and I'm excited about this because Jeff is from Down Under. And I totally butchered that, but that's all right. So he's actually in the early hours of the morning while we're here in the evening here in the States. So this is kind of interesting here. But ladies and gentlemen, hold your seats and prepare to be dazzled as we welcome a man who's more fired up than Barbie on Australian Day. It's our pleasure to introduce Jeffrey Ross, the trailblazing maestro of social selling and AI wizardry, and a chap who's as excited as a caffeinated kangaroo at a footy final. Wow, I have never spoken so many Australian words in my life, but Jeff, I'm just gonna bring you on, man, because I am totally butchering
Oh,
it so
love
bad I
it.
forgot to bring you up in the first place. But yeah, clearly we got an Australian in the house. We are excited to hear about your AI wizardry. I think I need a little bit of that for myself to be able to speak the lingo.
I absolutely love it. Well done, well done. And g'day,
Right.
guys. I'd be amiss if I didn't start off with a g'day, wouldn't I? And I'm also known as the king of dad jokes, and I always love to open up with a bit of a dad joke. So, hey, for those of you who are watching, how much does a polar bear weigh? Don't worry, because neither do I. I'm sure it's enough to break the ice. And another one for you is I married my wife for her looks, just not the ones that she's giving me right now. All right, guys. So social selling, and I just love what Caitlin was talking about there with regards to branding, and it was such a nice little segue and a nice little tie-in for what I can share with you here right now. And I've been an internet marketer now since 2009, so going on 16 years. Had a lot of success in the space, in the e-commerce arena, and in the digital marketing service arena, and now in the network marketing arena. And I've basically mastered the art of using social media to sell. So the term social selling, it's just a term, right? But using social media as an influencer to be able to help people to be able to help make money online, and that's the game that we play. See, my mission, my purpose statement, and everything that I do is basically I help out workaholic, burnt out, busy biz owner dads, transform them into laptop lifestyle dadpreneurs, teaching them how to make at least $10,000 a month online, so they can be the fun holiday dad, fueled by dad jokes, of course, helping them to make memories with their family. And the reason I lead with that is because that is my mission, that is my purpose, and that is everything that I do. But AI helped me come up with that. And it really ties in very well to what Caitlin was saying there with branding, right? Because now I'm clear on what I do, who it is I serve, and how it is I can serve them. Now I can create awesome killer content that speaks directly to that audience's heart. So I want to take what Caitlin was saying there and take it to a whole nother level. And that is the power of niching down. Find your tribe. Stop trying to market to the whole piece of the pie and find a piece of the pie that is an inch wide but a mile deep. And you'll find that that's the only way that you can really cut up above the noise. Get out of the competition and really just separate yourself from the crowd. When you know who it is you serve, and you know why it is you serve them, and you know how it is you can serve them, then you can create a really awesome brand around that. See, like taglines like, I'm excited as a caffeinated kangaroo, and I'm the laptop lifestyle dad, and I'm an Aussie larrikin, the king of dad jokes. Like, these are all part of my brand identity. Yeah, and ChatGPT and AI is a really awesome market research tool to be able to help you to formulate your brand identity. But it all starts with niching down. You know, as a marketing coach, the number one thing I see that people spin their wheels time and time and time again is they haven't got the niche right. They're trying to market to the whole pie. Their message is getting lost in the flow of the other people's conversations. See, I speak directly to the Father's heart. And this is where I want to go with this, is we're all somebody's guide. Doesn't matter how far down the path you are. You want to do podcasting, you reach out to Philip, right? And you want to do speaking gigs, you reach out to Philip. He's the man in that space because he is further down the path than I am in that space. So you wouldn't come to me. But if you want to come to me for social selling and AI mastery, I'll put my hand up. That's my lane. You come to me for that space. The only difference between you and I is how far down the path I am to that journey. See, we're all somebody's guide. You know, that doesn't matter whether you're selling ice to an Eskimo, whether you're selling travel, whether you're selling social media influencing courses or ChatGPT mastery. We're all selling some form of transformation. We're all taking someone out of Sucksville and their guide, and we're just stepping them through the journey through to the awesome town, you know, the top of the mountain where it's sweet and all of the problems that we face are in the rearview mirror, right? So I teach social selling and the fundamentals of marketing. You know, marketing hasn't changed for thousands of years. What has changed are the tools, are the things in the tech space, in the AI space. They have helped us to make it easier and make it, we can leverage it, right? But it's still just a tool. Yeah. When I first came across ChatGPT 4, I was actually got a few YouTube videos out there. I've got my flag planted and I've stood against it. I thought to myself, how could this tool be me? How could it create content like me? It's got no heart, is what I used to say. And it was right, but I had to humble myself because I was wrong at the same time. I didn't realize that when I first came across this tool, that it's an input-output tool. You've got to teach it. You've got to educate it. You've got to lay the foundations, right? So I've actually got a couple of templates. They're fill-in-the-blank prompts. So, I've done the prompt engineering work that help you to nail your niche, help you to create your content calendar, help you to create content from an attraction marketing point of view, right? You put in the guidelines of how you want it to talk to. But all of those tools, all of those fill-in-the-blank prompts are useless unless I feed the information to ChatGPT and give it some foundational information. Like it can be a really powerful tool if you just spend that little bit of time and lay the groundwork. You want to teach it everything about you, not just your business and your skill sets and your services. You want to teach it the things that your ideal target market, is about, not just the demographical data, but the psychographical data, the emotional data, the things that keep people up at night. I just created a 12-week course teaching people these marketing fundamentals. And essentially it's the social selling system. Like, are you ready for it? It's really simple, but it's such a big missing piece that I see so many people missing out. I was actually a student of Ryan Deiss from digitalmarketer.com back in 2015, 16, 17. I was one of his certified partners. And I remember back then he taught me this system. It's the proven predictable system that anybody can use, whether you're using AI or social selling, whatever it is you promote. You've got to dial in your customer value journey, right? You need to know, how do you create awareness? How do you then get that awareness and you engage with people? So how do you get engagement happening? And then you need to know, how do you then convert that traffic into leads and prospects and build your community, build your tribe? If you want to you create a following, you need to create content and be a person that's worth following, right? That comes back down to knowing your niche, knowing who your ideal market is, and knowing how you can get out of your head, just get into your heart and show up and serve. And how we do that is by solving our tribe's most painful problems, right? And so then how then you've got your tribe going. Then all you need to do is convert that leads into sales. And, that's when we come to the convert stage and they actually become a first-time customer. The next stage in the game is that's when you give them the wow factor. You deliver on your promise, whether it's a lead magnet, a tripwire, a core offer, whatever it is. You want to help people get wins quickly, get transformational results quickly, or at the very least, show them how they can get out of Sucksville into Awesome Town and create clarity for them. Then we have the ascension ladder, and that's where we can upsell and we can cross-sell. And then we have our brand ambassadors and our referral partners. You get that system dialed in, doesn't matter what business model it is, you get your customer value journey dialed in, you now have a proven, predictable system that you can measure the numbers and measure the experiences and measure the results and tweak and adjust and pivot, and away you go, right? So that's the strategy behind what I do in social selling. I've got a very clear pipeline that I've helped automate parts of that pipeline with websites and funnels and Facebook ads and content marketing and all of that, right? To take people on that journey. See, marketing 101, keep it really simple, keep it really basic. Put the right message in front of the right people in front of the right time. And then it's just about getting the right offer, right? In front of the right people, in front of the right time. And then we can use AI, ChatGPT, when we've laid the foundations down to help us to facilitate the content marketing beast. This beast is always hungry. It's never fully satisfied, and it survives on consistency. Now, I know before I started using ChatGPT, I've been in the game since 2009, right? I know the power of content marketing, and when you get it right and get your brand right. And I've seen the power and seen the success from that over the decade. But ChatGPT just helps take away the writer's block. It takes away the guesswork. It takes away all of that inconsistency problems. And that's what I do. I basically help people learn how to master the fundamentals of marketing, and from a sales and marketer's perspective. And I just take people, help them get their brand right, their brand identity right, by helping them to niche down. And these are some of the key fundamental elements that I seem to see a lot of people miss over. And they don't get it right. And then they're wondering why they got the shotgun approach, and they're trying to find everything and anything to make anything stick and work for them. Guys, get these fundamentals right. Get your mission statement right. Get your values right. ChatGPT can help with all of this when you lay the foundation. So, Philip, that's all I had to share, man. I just get really excited about this stuff. As you can see, I get like a caffeinated kangaroo jumping around, and hopefully that's loads of value for your audience, and just a couple of strategic snapshots there. But yeah, highly recommend diving into the world of AI to help facilitate your customer value journey.
I really like your approach to that as well, because most of us, when we think of AI, we think about just creating all the content and
It's a
doing all the
tool,
work
right?
for us. And it just really helps you get over that writer's block for sure. There's so much power behind it, but we still have to have that human touch, which you didn't say get rid
Ah,
of it for sure.
yeah,
So
yeah.
love it
You
for
know,
sure. And thank you for your Australian accent. It was great to have on here as well. And your caffeinated kangaroo self, especially this early in the morning for you.
it's only
Definitely need that
lunchtime.
caffeine. That's lunchtime.
It's only
Okay. Yeah.
lunchtime
It
here.
depends on what part of the country, I guess, for you.
I'm in the future.
Yeah. Right. It's tomorrow. All right. Cool. Well, Jeff, appreciate it so much. All right, our next guest coming on is Joe Graham. Joe is the host of the 150K podcast and has been in sales for over 18 years. I've definitely talked with him a lot to help me with my sales strategy, and he is an amazing, phenomenal man. He has a passion to help others and create a life that they love to wake up to, and you can see it in everything that he does. But Joe, I'm going to hand it over to you to take it away and teach us all about sales.
Awesome. Thank you, my friend. And I'm going to drop this background. First thing of sales, honestly, you got to be adaptable. I'm in my daughter's room. I was talking to Phil right before here, and my main computer went down. So, like, I'm scrambling while all these speakers are talking, and I'm like, oh, crap, what am I going to do? So now I'm in my daughter's room. We're moving, we're doing all this stuff. But first rule of sales, be adaptable. Learn that you're not going to work out perfectly each time. In fact, most of the time, the plan that you have in place is not going to work. It's going to mess up. It's going to fail. You're going to fail forward. You're going to learn to grow, adapt. I got to slide down here so you can actually see me. So I saw this outside the camera angle. But here's the thing that I think a lot of people need to realize. With sales, you're just solving a problem. You're just helping someone else step into their dream, their plan, their calling, what it is that they need done. And guess what? You get paid a lot to do that. Ziegler said it right. He said, if you help enough people, you'll never lack. And the reason is this, is because there's a law when it comes to sales. When you give more value than you take in revenue, you win. And I think a lot of times we hear all the different stuff like I use AI, I use ChatGPT, I use marketing strategies, I use all of it. But my shirt says build it, shine it, live it. You need to build relationships each and every day because relationship is the biggest capital that you will ever get. It's not going to be the one way you said something right or the one great way you presented or that one thing, but building relationships each and every day with people will help you, like Philip said, wake up to a life you love living. He mentioned I've been in sales for 18 years. Everyone on here sounds great, like we just crushed it every day. And here's the thing, we all started somewhere. We all sucked to begin with, but you know what we did? We kept each and every day making the phone call, each and every day sending the email out, each and every day reaching out and connecting and building relationships and growing and helping people and failing forward. So I want to encourage you today, if you're just starting out, I'm 18, actually 19 years into sales. I won 4 President's Circle Award recently for a Fortune 100 company. But when I started out, I literally looked at the guy and said, about them. So I saw Philip hop in there again, talk about being adaptable. So what I want you to remember is simply this. When you're moving forward, when you're growing, when you're trying new things, don't beat yourself up. Win, learn, grow. Become the person you need to be. Connect with the right people and just keep getting better. Because at the end of the day, sales is connection. Sales is problem solving. The gentleman before mentioned it, having your systems and processes in place. Success is boring. It's doing the right things over and over and over again, getting a known results. With sales, with my B2B background, with selling online, with running the podcast, with doing all the things that I've done, I have a process in place. I'm going to make so many calls a day. I'm going to send out so many emails. I'm going to do the things that's going to position me to win, because you've heard this before and it's so true. Luck is not luck. It's made. The work you do now shows up 3 months, 6 months, a year from now. The leveling up that you're doing now will get you and qualify you to be in rooms with people that would blow your mind. Why? Because you started making the right effort. You started doing the thing that you needed to do to grow and become the person you needed to be. So sales, simply as this. Find a problem, 4 times the value of what your solution is, and they buy. Learn your process, learn your system, find your ideal client, and bring them so much value that they would be crazy not to connect with you. And again, like I'm in my daughter's bedroom, be adaptable. My first computer, my whole great podcast area, all set up to go. What's not working? I'm by a bunk bed, but I'm talking to you today about sales. But here's the thing. Let me give you a little caveat of my background. I told you I won 4 President Circles Awards. I'm going to Hawaii again this summer. I've been able to take my wife places that blows my mind. I've been able to take my kids to Disney, my wife to Hawaii 4 times in the last 3 years. I've been able to do things. Why? Because I learned how to sell. So whatever you want to do, whether you want to do social selling online, whether you want to do B2B face-to-face like I do, whether you want to build a brand, learn how to connect with people, learn how to solve their problems, and you'll win each and every time. Hey, Philip, that's what I have today. It was a little bit more off kilter simply because of the fact that things go crazy at times.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Joe, we definitely have to be adaptable, like you said, and that is sales 101 right there. When you think the client is ready, they're not ready. So
Yeah, well, like I didn't expect, like we were talking, I literally had everything set up. I host a podcast. I talk to people that are multimillionaires all the time, and we have this going, and then all of a sudden we got a bunk bed. But it's cool because you know what? The value you bring is what really matters. Showing up and being authentic is what really matters. That's the other thing I didn't mention. Be authentically you. Don't be anyone else. Don't be Philip. Don't be me. Be you, and you win.
yeah, exactly. And people are gonna notice that, just like commission breath. They're gonna notice when you're not being your true self. And they don't want to work with somebody who's being a fake, because how long until you decide to go against them on everything? So Joe, we really appreciate you coming on and sharing that value there. Our next guest is going to be Josh. This man is one that's doing these things all the time. I bet he's probably judging me because of my amazing skills here at the live stream, going back and forth, being an orchestrator, but he's doing it all the time himself. But Josh Thomas is the founder of Factor One, and a 15-year grizzled veteran entrepreneur who has worked with more than 5,000 clients across 30 industries. His simple slingshot framework has helped small businesses 2x, 3x, and even 5x their sales in less than 90 days. So guess what? We're not going to talk about marketing. We're going to be talking about sales right now. So Josh, go ahead and take it away.
Thanks, Philip. Glad to be here. So there's one thing that I've learned in the last 15 years in working directly with more than 5,000 entrepreneurs across 30 different industries. And it's this. They all have kind of the same challenges. And most likely, if you're under 7 figures right now, the problem that you're trying to overcome is you're looking to grow. You've got big growth goals. But the number one problem that you're trying to overcome is you don't have enough cash. And the reason that you don't have enough cash is probably because your sales are inconsistent. And the reason your sales are inconsistent is because you don't have enough leads. The reason you don't have enough leads is your offer is probably not great. 9 times out of 10, it has to do with your offer, the messaging surrounding it. It's too complicated. It's poorly positioned. There's no urgency. It's not compelling. Doesn't solve the hidden problem, as I call it. Or it's not a holistic or a progressive solution kind of leading to the next thing. And then finally, it's just not unique. If I were to boil that down into a handful of words, it's probably unclear, it's untargeted, it's unconvincing, and it's unoriginal. And I'm sharing this with you not because I want to judge you or make you feel bad or ruin the rest of your day. I'm just being honest because what I've seen 80 to 90% of the entrepreneurs that I work with have to go and get supplemental income to make ends meet. And the reason for that is they're not differentiating themselves enough from the market, and they don't have a compelling enough offer to make somebody say, hey, I'm going to give you my real, tangible, countable, measurable money that I know the value of for your thing, whatever it is that I'm not entirely sure what the value is, and maybe I might get a return. And you see what I mean? Like, if I'm paying with dollars, I know what my dollar's worth. I don't know what your program or your service or your system is worth if your offer is not clear, it's not targeted, it's not convincing, and it's not original. If you fix your offer, you fix your sales. If you fix your sales, you fix your cash flow. And then if you fix your cash flow, you fix every other problem. If you don't have a cash flow problem, you don't really have a problem at all. And that's really the goal. And one of the ways that I've learned to do that is I did an analysis of all of my clients over the last decade and a half. And I pulled in the big winners. There are a bunch of people that kind of did average. There are a bunch of people that failed. There's a bunch of people that are still on the starting line even all these years later. But I pulled in all the winners and I analyzed all of these sales campaigns, all of these offers. What was it about these that made it work? And it came down to 7 very simple templates. And I noticed of all of the different campaigns, there were only 7 templates that were being followed. And it was very predictable. Every time I saw somebody that was going to crush it, they were doing one or more of these things in these 7 templates. And the acronym that I came up for these templates is called PRECISE. I'm going to share that with you now. So if you're creating a precise offer, you're going to hit one or more of these items: a process improvement, a reposition, something I call EGG, conversion message, innovative offer, secondary sale, and elixir. So let's go through those really quickly, what those are. Again, process improvement means that you're improving something that you're already doing. You're making it more efficient or more effective. Reposition has to do with making you a more premium option. You could also call a reposition like changing markets or something like that. EGG stands for everything's got to go. And so that is a sale, like a blowout sale on an existing product or service, something that you already have. Conversion message, those are the words that you're using to get people to say yes to you. An innovative offer is something new that solves your customer's unmet need or desire, something you kind of discover along the way. A secondary sell is an upsell, which is an additional product or service, or a cross sell, which is bolting on somebody else's service at the point of sale so that you can increase the ticket value. And then finally, elixir is your special sauce. It's what places you into a category of one. And so over the years, I've realized that everybody who wins is using one or more of these templates to create their precise offer. And so you can do that too, if you want. You just have to pick one of those and go with it, just one at a time. Totally fine, no problem there. And once you do that, then you're going to have an offer that's clear, an offer that's targeted, an offer that's convincing, and an offer that's original. So if you want to learn more about that, I do have a training where it walks through the entire Precise method. I leave nothing out. You don't have to buy anything from me to learn it. You can go to factor1.io/framework. That's factor1.io/framework. And you can access the entire Precise method. It's like a 35-minute video. I even did like a 5-minute reduction if you don't have that kind of time, and you can watch me on 2x speed because I talk kind of slow. So like within about 3.5 minutes, you could get the idea of what this is, and you can take it and you can go and apply it in your business and start seeing results. I've had clients 2x, 3x, and even 5x their sales in less than 90 days by applying these very simple frameworks into their business. So I want to give that to you as my free gift to you. And obviously, if you have any questions, you're welcome to reach out to me and happy to share.
Awesome. Well, Josh, you're always bringing so much value, man. And one thing that I remember that we've talked about with the offer is offer so that you can That's one of the probably the simplest way that I've ever really heard of how to make an offer. This is the offer, so you can do this and everything. Yep. So very good stuff there. I put that in our private chat here. I put it also in the live chat, so that way people can know about that. But factor1.io/framework if you want to check that out for free. But Josh, appreciate you coming on and sharing your message about how to be more precise with our offer.
You got it.
All right. Our next guest is going to be Ty Shane. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him on at this point. Hey, Ty, welcome, man. So with a unique life experience, including foster youth, addiction, incarceration, and everything in between, Ty is taking you on a journey of longest lasting, tried and true strategy for scaling your business, cold emails. Prepare to take notes on how to leverage the law of averages and grow your business. Ty, go ahead and take it away, man.
Hey, thank you. So can you see this? Can you see the screen?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to share on the stream. Go ahead and share it again. Sorry, I forgot to put it back.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
You're good. Yeah, put it back and I'll share it again.
Oh,
Or yeah, share your screen again.
There we go.
All right, there we go. I'm gonna hop out now.
So if you're watching this, you probably use email. And so if you could metaphorically raise your hand, do you use email? And at the same time, how many emails do you get each day that are considered cold emails? And then out of those cold emails, how many of those emails are actually personalized and making you feel seen and heard? And so what's happening in cold email world is one of the longest lasting, tried and proven strategies is cold email outreach. Because of AI, the barrier of entry has been reduced. And so what is happening is it is more important than ever to go about an older strategy in a new way. And this is where, like what Jeff was talking about, this is where AI comes into play, but on a completely different level. And so there are 3 components to cold email. And the first component is your deliverability. And AI helps with deliverability. And so it's a matter of understanding what the servers are looking for to prevent emails from hitting your inbox. And then second is knowing who you are speaking to and who you are reaching out to. And so that's understanding, just like Jeff was talking about, how do you assess the proper target for whatever the objective is that you're trying to achieve within another business. And then number 3 is your offer and your messaging. And so that definitely goes in with what Josh was saying, but in cold email world, it's what is your offer? How are you speaking to them? And what is the relevance, in between those 2 components? And so what you can do now, and this is just mind-boggling, is using ChatGPT, using AI, and using the right software to scrape data on your prospects that you can't get on Apollo, you can't get on Seamless.ai, you can't get it absolutely anywhere unless you take the extra steps. And then what happens is when you integrate ChatGPT with these data points and these sets of data that you scraped on these different prospects, you can bring it all together with OpenAI API key. And so the strategy that we teach people is number one, within deliverability, know how to build your system. And so, oh man, that's terrible. I lost my train of thought. It's hot in here. Oh man. So, man, completely froze. Okay, I'm just gonna take that off. Okay, so in 2024, basically now you can actually speak to people. And so imagine if you got an email and the email actually like had something that was super relevant to you. It had information that was specific to you as a person, and it was specific to your business. And then it was also integrated with basically like industry relevant pain points and desires and stuff like that. We're using AI now. You can prospect in a way that you never could before. And so like boring templated emails that you can tell they didn't put any effort in, you can now do those at scale using AI. And so first of all, building your system right. So splitting Microsoft and Google emails, because part of deliverability with cold email is basically little nuances that the servers look for that you can circumvent to increase your deliverability. And so we actually have like a mini course where we actually give away all of our secrets. And it's like, how do you build a 2,500 email a day system with zero technical experience? Well, it's actually 1,000% possible. You don't need to do anything, and you can now build cold email systems without knowing what the heck you're doing. And that's because of AI and knowing the right connections. And then your data, so there's something called triple verified leads. And what this is while everyone is going to Apollo and just doing the bare minimum to validate those emails, you can just go to a lead source that does a triple layer verification, and it will pull out email addresses that everyone else is throwing to the side because they don't want to spend the extra couple cents per lead to validate, catch-alls and unverified emails. And so that would be listkit.io. And then you take, you can, wherever you get your leads from, you can take that listkit.io. So now you have leads that that 90% of anyone doing cold email is not using. So so you have better data. Then you take that into Clay. And what Clay does, Clay is a data aggregator and a scraper, and then it integrates with ChatGPT-4. And so the process that we teach is pulling relevant information, whether it's from social media profiles, whether it's from LinkedIn, whether it's from Google search queries. There's a lot of different ways that you can get information that is relevant and matters, but most importantly, makes prospects feel seen and heard. And then you can speak to them using the industry and using pain points that you prompt into your cold emails to stand out. Because if you go look in your inbox right now or tomorrow, go look in your inbox, read your cold emails. None of them are actually speaking to you. They're speaking at you. Not a single one of those cold emails knows anything about you other than your business name, other than your industry, other than like the date today. Like, cold emailers don't do this. And so as AI saturates the entire digital world and my AI bot is talking to your AI bot, and we're no longer even communicating anymore, what's happening is people are not feeling seen and they're not feeling heard, and people are starting to reject the impersonal communications. And so in cold email now, you can bridge that gap, and you can take personalization at scale, infinitely scalable, using very specific sets of data on these people from their business. You can pull their financial records. You can do all sorts of stuff at scale without actually ever doing anything. And then using AI, which is funny, actually speak to them and make them feel seen and heard. And so in cold email world, it's changing. Templates, normal copywriter, all of that is dying because you probably had an influx of cold emails over the past 6 months. Your rate of cold emails has probably increased because the barrier of entry into cold emails has been reduced. But what's happening now is the barrier for converting and getting responses is increasing because now people get into click run. They get into a click run. And so when they get into cold email click run, they're just like delete, 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 delete. And so personalization is pattern disruption. And now you can use psychographics instead of just the templated demographics in mass cold outreach. And it's all about using the right tech stack. So just to formulate it again, kind of that diagram I had, it's important to use both Microsoft and Google because now you can match the Google to Google, the Microsoft to Microsoft, and just a small thing you can do. The second thing you can do is no HTML. So on your first emails, first of all, think of the person reading it. Respect their time. If it takes them more than 10 seconds to read your first and maybe second cold email in your drip campaign, you're not respecting their time. And so how you go about it totally matters. And then number 2 is using good data. Get data that not everybody and their mother is using. If you're just using Apollo, if you're just using Seamless, guess what? So is everybody else. You don't have a single lick of information that other people aren't using. So you blend in. Your messaging literally is just going to blend in because you're all using the same foundational data. And so to fix that, boom, you use Clay. You can scrape in their personal LinkedIn profile, their business LinkedIn profile. You can scrape their Instagram business profile. You can have it run Google search queries on the business to find news. You can scrape a lot of different things. And so then you integrate that enriched data and you create what is called formulas. And these formulas are ChatGPT prompts, but within the prompt, you use the specific scraped data from that person. So you're using the same data points from Joe, Susie, and Bill, but because they're all different and hyper relevant to each specific person, when you run that prompt, they're all going to be different, but it's all the same prompt. And so that's what Clay does. And so you can work that into your messaging and into your copy. And absolutely, most people aren't doing this because it adds a little bit of a cost. And people think cold email, they think I'm going to be cheap. I'm just going to send out 1 million emails. I'm not going to put any thought, any effort, and law of averages is just going to take me the distance by being lazy. And so what is happening now is AI is more important than ever in cold outreach, but only with aggregated data that you have to take that extra step to get that nobody else is using. And then using the right software. You don't use Brevo, you don't use MailChimp, you don't use Go High Level especially. Don't ever use Go High Level for cold email. You don't use these different softwares because there's warm and there's cold. And you need to make sure that the software you're using is built to circumvent these filters because Google's cracking down. Microsoft's cracking down. You got to know how to build your systems. And so we have a whole mini course where we literally give away absolutely everything. The people who build our systems, if you were to pay us to build your systems, we literally give you their information. And so you can go build a system and you can get Google Workspace emails for $3 a month. You can get Microsoft 365 for $3 a month. You save 60% on those costs. And we don't get anything from it. We just give away everything because to work with us and to use our formulas and our strategies and our minds, it gets pretty expensive. So that was our way of combating our price, is just to make sure we give literally everything away for free. And that includes where to go to get Apollo leads, 25K Apollo leads for or 10K for $25. Like there's just so many different strategies in cold email world that are kept secret and then basically, charged at premium to use. And so that's kind of cold email world in an update and revealed more than anything. and we literally give our entire strategy away for free. And this isn't a pitch, ain't selling nothing. It takes 15 minutes. We put so it just takes 15 minutes to do, and you literally can start sending cold emails, in 3 weeks. And so
Awesome, Ty. And what is that link that we can send out?
Yeah, I'm gonna post it in there right now.
All right, cool. Yeah, we'll get that posted in the live chat and everything. One thing that I found that somebody mentioned about, if you want to make sure that your email didn't get into the spam filter, was by putting your terms and conditions at the bottom, because part of getting in the spam filter is being too salesy within that cold email. So it's just something random that I heard. I think that's a terrible approach, just to put this block of terms and conditions just to get past it, to show that you are under the 40, 50, 60%, whatever that barrier of sales pitch in a cold email is, to get there. But Ty, I appreciate you sharing that. I got the link here, so I'll make sure to put that in the live notes. I think I just closed out the chat by accident, but appreciate you sharing that great message there on cold emails. Definitely something that we all need to work on. And so for those of you that are watching right now, or maybe you're watching later, make sure that you tune in, continue to tune in, leave comments, go follow these people that have shared such a great message. They have so much more great content that they share on their social media platforms, and you can learn so much more from that. Or if you want to learn from them directly, go reach out for that as well. I guarantee they'll be willing to have a conversation with you about sales and marketing. And if you are looking for help with public speaking yourself, we've got a webinar coming up on Thursday that you can check out there on my website, speakingsessions.com/webinar. That's in the live stream chat also. And then if you want to be on this virtual summit, we'd love to have you there. That's in the live stream comments as well. speakingsessions.com/virtual-summit. And we appreciate all of you showing up, but we are done with our live stream here. So we appreciate you